World Cup qualifying is back. USA versus Jamaica. Without further ado, let's jump right into this match preview. My name is Alex. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and follow me on other social medias for more frequent updates. So this Jamaica game, this is going to be the first game of the second window. Of course, this will be another 3-game window. The game after this will be Panama away, and then Costa Rica at home in Columbus, Ohio. After getting only 5 points in the first window, that was kind of the bare minimum. It's fine, but at the end of the day, we still dropped more points than we should have, especially given that we did get the away result in Honduras. So when we look at this Jamaica game, we have to look at, we dropped points against Canada at home. We need to make up those points. We made them up in Honduras. We need to win every home game left, other than maybe Mexico, but we'll worry about that later. So Jamaica are coming off of a very bad first window. They only got 1 point out of a possible 9. That 1 point came against Costa Rica in a tie. They almost got a draw against Mexico, but conceded to Henry Martin in the last minute of the game. And then they lost 3-0 at home against what is a very, very bad Panama team. So this is the Jamaican team, which is coming off a very disappointing window. And they are going to be missing out on lots of key names. Those include Mikhail Antonio of West Ham United, Ethan Pitlock from Brentford, Daniel Johnson, the midfielder, and of course Leon Bailey of Aston Villa. The key for the U.S. to win this game is in the midfield. The midfield is a very weak spot for this Jamaican team, especially with Daniel Johnson unavailable for this game. And our midfield, when it could be Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and whether it be Musa, Leggett, Acosta, either way, midfield is a strong point here, and the midfield is how the U.S. is going to win this game. Because if we dominate the midfield, the front line, I mean, De Cordova-Reid, Nicholson, these guys that can be dangerous forwards at moments, but if we can dominate the midfield, we won't really need to worry about it. And Jamaica's not really a team that's well organized enough to really sit back and soak up pressure like some other teams in CONCACAF would. They're going to play at us, so we're going to have to play at them as well, and this could be a pretty free-flowing game. Now here's the thing, Jamaica's a very physical team. We haven't necessarily coped the best with physical teams, so that's another reason, when I get to the lineup, some of the guys I put in there, I just like them for that individual battle, so especially that we can dominate the midfield, because as I said before, that is the key to winning this game. So let's jump right over into what I think the lineup is going to be. And we're going to start with the back line, which I think everyone will agree with. Matt Turner as the number 1. Now, there is an argument for Zach Steffen to be the starting goalkeeper, and that argument, just to play devil's advocate, I would say would be that Jamaica is a very good pressing team compared to some of the other teams in CONCACAF, and he's better with his feet, better playing out of the back. Matt Turner, he's a much better shot stopper, but he's not necessarily better at playing out of the back, so maybe that's the argument for Steffen. But I think Matt Turner started the first 3 games, did excellent, played the entire Gold Cup, did excellent. He has more than earned the starting job right now. Though I would like to maybe see Zach Steffen maybe get that Costa Rica game to give him a shot to earn back his starting spot. The 2 center backs, Miles Robinson's a lock in on this team, absolutely. Chris Richards, I think most people would agree, should be the other starter, but I wouldn't be very surprised if Berhalter decided to put in Mark McKenzie, just because he has experience with this team before. He played in the Nations League. But regardless, no matter what happens, it's going to be a new center back pairing, 2 guys who have never played before, which could be susceptible to inexperience of playing together, but it shouldn't be much of an issue. Now we look at the fullbacks, and Destin Robinson. This is pretty much going to be unanimous. Robinson won't be able to go to Panama as things stand, so he's absolutely going to start this game and start the 3rd game in this window. Neo Dest, right back for Barcelona. He wasn't very good in September, and he did get injured, but there's no way he doesn't start for this team. Let's be realistic here. And then we look at the midfield. Tyler Adams, if he's 100%, will start this game. Though I wouldn't be super surprised if he maybe got rested, rotated, get back to 100% fitness, and then start the other 2 games if it's Kellen Acosta in that case. But other than that, Weston McKennie as one of the 2 8s we know for a fact is starting because Berhalter confirmed it already. And then Yunus Musa as the other 8. This one, again, this could be Musa, could be Legit, could be Acosta, even as a wild card could be Gianluca Buzio, but I don't think that's going to happen, and I doubt it's De La Torre, and I really, really doubt that it's Christian Roldan. But Yunus Musa, who I would prefer, especially for this position, because of his individual battle ability to win in those sort of tight spaces, and that's something that Jamaica is going to make difficult for us, though we should dominate the midfield battle, and Yunus Musa brings that physical aspect, which a Buzio or a Legit would not. The wingers, I think everyone would unanimously agree, should be Mr. Brendan Aronson and Timothy Weah. These are our two most in-form attackers at the moment. Brendan Aronson just coming off a ridiculous start to the season, and he was also our best attacker in September, scoring against Canada and Honduras. Timothy Weah, on the other hand, has just come off two phenomenal weekends for Lille. Got man of the match, at least one of them, and played phenomenally in the other, drawing a penalty, getting an assist. Should have had a few more assists if his teammates could bury some chances. Now, Paul Arriola could start this game, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Greg Berhalter went with Paul Arriola or even Matthew Hoppe out of position on the wing, but I think it's going to be these two, and I really do hope it's these two. And then we look at the number 9 position now. You would think it would be a shoo-in for Pepe, given his game, but against Honduras. But when we look at Giassi Zardes as the type of individual player, and you look at the kind of opponent we're looking at with Jamaica, maybe he's the kind of guy who can stretch their back line a little bit more than Pepe. Pepe might not cope as well against the physical center backs. Giassi Zardes can stretch them a little bit more, create more space for Brendan Aronson and Timothy Weah to work with vertically. It's a much more vertical lineup. Greg Berhalter mentioned this in the press conference when the roster came out. This is a much more vertical roster than that first one, and that has a large part to do with Christian Pulisic and Giovanni Reyna being ruled out due to injury for this camp. So now I pretty much showed you who I think should start, how the U.S. will win this game, how I think the game could play out a little bit. Now let's look at my predictions for the 4 CONCACAF games that we played today. Now into the predictions, and we'll start off with the U.S.-Jamaica game, which I can see playing out as a 3-1 win. Jamaica without some of their stars. Yeah, the U.S. is missing Pulisic, Reyna, and Brooks, but I think the depth of the U.S. will outperform the depth of Jamaica, who are of course missing Antonio Bailey and several others, and Pinnock. So I'm going to go for 3-1. I think the U.S. will score a couple of goals, dominate the midfield, limit Jamaica's chances, and ultimately find the back of the net more than the opponent. Now, Honduras against Costa Rica. Honduras are coming off a horrible first window, and they lost 4-1 at home, which is something they can't afford to do. They're back at home against Costa Rica, and this is a huge game for them to get their qualifying back on track, and Costa Rica were pretty uninspiring in that first window. I'm going to go with the Honduras win at home in San Pedro Sula, 2-1. And then Mexico against Canada at the Azteca. This is a really huge opportunity for Canada to make a real statement. They had a relatively easy schedule in the first window. They played Honduras at home, El Salvador at home. They got 4 points out of those two and also stole a point on the road against the U.S. It's a huge opportunity for them against Mexico, but I think Mexico's star power will unfortunately be too much for Les Rouges. And then we look at the final game. It's El Salvador and Panama. I think this is the most boring of the games. Two relatively defensive-minded teams. I think El Salvador maybe will sneak out with a win, but I really have no idea how this is going to go. Panama could even win this, given the form they're in right now. I'm going to say 0-0, but yeah, let me know what your predictions are for these 4 games, especially the U.S. game, because that was the main focus, you know. That's all I have for you today. Enjoy the game, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter and TikTok. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who might enjoy it, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.